everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for me too. I was like just about to jump into making videos as I was learning Spellslingers, and due to COVID and just a bunch of other stuff going on recently, it's been hard to get back. I will say I've also been in my sickness playing World of Warcraft again. It's easy to get sucked in. But I wanted to come back with a deck that I'm having so much fun playing. I started off not having too many planeswalkers, slowly but surely over the last couple weeks have been grinding here and there. And I think Rel is just one of the most fun planeswalkers to play if you've ever played combo decks or anything where you're kind of like waiting in the early game and then you just kind of like go off. I think for a beginner player it'd be a little tough, but just because there's like sequencing and you have to like really kind of math it out. But I just want to real quick show y'all the deck here, and I'll post that below as well. Pretty much the standard, I think, list that you get when you first get him. I added, obviously, the Fountain of Magic. It's just, like, the perfect land for this deck. I don't have the Wizard class, so we're definitely playing, more underpowered. And I don't have a lot of other cards I would probably want to be playing in this deck. But I think the way I've kind of worked on it over the last couple of days is, you would think playing creatures like Electromage, or even the Magnum Opus, would sort of be like, well, you're playing Pyroclasm, you're playing removal, like why do you have creatures? And at least with what the cards I have, it just, you want to stick something that's going to get bigger. Even the Prodigal Student, just as a defensive creature, but you want to stick like Electromage or Opus, which makes a 3/3 that gets bigger. Because then at some point you're just going to have a turn where you like double unsummon their creatures or shock something, or Pyroclasm their board but your creatures still live, and you just like, there are a couple times I've just hit my opponent for like 13 damage, 15 damage in one turn, which is what I love about Is It. For those of you who have played Is It at a pre-release or just in the past, it's kind of how the decks tend to work. They combo off. But enough of me talking. I think we'll just dive into a few games and see how the deck sort of plays. But honestly, I haven't put any money into this game. I think that you can really, just by playing the cards, like accumulate a lot of stuff. So it's really great when you're on a budget. Yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, it's really bugged. Alright, so we're playing against Kaya. I haven't played this matchup much. I would love a little bit of a few other early drops. The other playing Hellmouth. I've played against this deck, so it's very low curve, trying to kind of sneak creatures in or go wide. I think we've got a pretty good matchup, especially if we hit like a key Pyroclasm. Could Spark of Genius here. Traditionally, I just hold these for turns to take advantage of Ral's passive. So your third spell after you've played 2 gets discounted by 2. And then when you play the third spell, it deals 1 damage. Okay, so they've made 2 1/1s. And they need 3 damage to complete their quest, which is their whole mission, rather. So if they deal 3, they get a free card, and then so on and so forth. I think here I'm down to just, it's either we fire off the Anticipate to maybe hit a Pyroclasm or removal, or we just hold it down, we play Embermage, and then we start going off. This is close, I think. I think I'm going to be greedy. We'll see if it pays off. And I think I'm going to play the Embermage on turn 3, and then start trying to fight back, a little bit after that. Because every time you play a spell with this card, it deals 1 damage to your opponent. You can deal a lot of chip damage. Yeah, now Now we're getting in the danger zone. So we're taking 3. They're getting a free card. Not great. We're going to play Embermage, I think, no matter what. If we draw Pyroclasm here, it might just be good enough to play, but we also know they have a card that they haven't played. Okay. Yeah. We're going to go Embermage. Hopefully we can block the horse. Take another 3 minimum here. And then next turn, it's probably Student, Anticipate. And if we get a 2-cost or lower spell, we Spark of Genius and use our passive. Yeah, that's not good. So they're going to probably put it here, yeah. Definitely just need to find a Pyroclasm as soon as possible. Or just even some small spot removal. They're getting free cards here, which is just really not good, because they're going to be able to refill their board. Okay, Unsummon helps a little bit. So we could go Spark, see what we hit, and then play these 2 spells potentially. But I think I also want to have stuff on the board myself. Let's Spark. Okay. Grudge Match is good. So I can Grudge Match those, or I can Enfeeblement. Yeah, I guess it needs to be Grudge Match. Okay, so this is good. We're going to get a free spell here. That's really nice. Could attack for 2. Yeah, I think we're going to Grudge Match here. Down to attack for 2. They might block, they might just take it. And then I think, so we could unsummon the token, or we could Anticipate. I think I want to Anticipate, because I may need to unsummon something else here. Okay, so Spark of Genius. Okay, Figment I can play for free. But Spark of Genius allows me to go off next turn. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, so the deck, you could, I have to really think about these turns, because there's just, there's a lot of different lines of play, a lot of different sequencing. Okay, so making this bigger. So we are taking 4, but I'd rather them do that so that when we unsummon it, it loses the buffs. And they don't get their quest fulfilled, at least off of that attack. Okay. So if we could find a way to... Okay, Shock's good. Shock's definitely good. It's probably just going to shock one of these, bounce, maybe get a free this, potentially. So I guess we'll start with Spark, see what we hit. Okay, double shock is definitely fine. Okay, so then let's shock here. Make the flame coil discounted. Great. And I can shock here, but I might want to just set up another turn. Well, but then we get to attack. Yeah, this is probably worth. Yeah, they also took a ton of damage off the mage and our passive. So, those are kind of how you want your turns to go. Even into the aggro decks, yeah, you just try and empty your hand, deal with other threats. And all the while, if you have Embermage out, I only have one of this card right now. It just deals so much chip damage. Okay. Might have wanted the mana gem, but getting a free spell again with this sort of deck is really good. How do we want to play this? So we have 5 mana. I mean, the most efficient play is to go Trumpet Blast on Summon. So I guess we would unsummon I mean, either way, we can really realistically only attack with this guy. So I think I'm actually just going to also Chain Lightning for 8, which could kill these, and that might just be better. Because if it kills these, and they take 3, and they take 5, they're dead. That's probably good enough. Yep. And that's GG. Yeah. And that's how you play it. You like build up your spells and then you play the lightning card and it just does a lot of damage and clears the way for your creatures. Okay, so we're playing against Jace. This is definitely a tough matchup for a number of reasons I'll get into. Right now I should think about what I want to keep. At the moment I think we just ship these back. Okay. Jolt's a really powerful card in this deck, so having it in our opening hand is going to help. And they're running Tolarian Academy. Cost 1 less. Starting turn 5, you have a chance to increase this discount by 1. Okay. Yeah, so they're running like Isochron Scepter, the other stun one. That's a good one drop. Constrictor. I haven't really seen that out of this deck recently. So this matchup is, I think, definitely Jace favored, right? Like, I mean, going late for their ability is just really good. But I have won games where you just get the right sequencing. You, like, kill their 1 or 2 creatures on the board and smack them with a huge Magnum Opus or just some other cards, and you just, like, combo off over the course of, like, 2 turns before they maybe pop their ultimate sort of ability here. But it's a really tough matchup, especially when you don't have Wizard class. They don't either, so you know that is definitely helpful for us. We'll just open with Lorekeeper, which we'll probably trade off for the Constrictor. Get a free spell. Okay, burn through is not really great, but it is cheap, and that helps us get our passive off. Yeah, this one just really comes down to. So a lot of the builds are playing Hellion, which is like a 9/7 haste trample. If it does any damage to your opponent, you get another copy in your deck. And then when they pop this, all their cards cost 1. So, okay, that's fine. Using the removal on that. So you really can't win the long game against Jace. And Ral isn't necessarily like an aggro or control deck. It's like a storm deck for those who play Magic Arena or like Magic Online. So it has these like weird windows where it's doing damage. So I would say typically it fares a little better against aggro and mid-range because you have abilities to sweep the board, you have abilities to tempo your opponent out. But against control, it's really sketchy. Okay, let's think about what I'm doing here. I could just play the Figment. Could also Spark and then burn through to try and get a free inspiration. We have access to 3. I actually really like that. I think that's going to be the play. The strongest creature from your graveyard. Repeat this process. I mean, the game might go late enough, but I guess this early, and for Magnum Opus, I might want Bubble Shield, actually. Okay. So this looks a little grief, because we're kind of spewing a spell here, but it allows us to Jolt for nothing, for 2 mana, which is excellent, and then play a 3/2. I'm not going to trade here. I'll take 2 if they want to deal 2 to me. We drew Lava Axe. That's pretty sweet off of that. We've got Bubble Shield for Magnum Opus when we play it, which I think it's close there. I think it's either that or the fight card this early. Okay. Healer's Kit. Okay, sure. Sure. take 2. That's okay. This next turn... Okay, we don't care about this because it's not attacking us. We've got access to 4 mana, essentially. I think we'll just get Student down. And I could Bubble Shield the Student here. But I don't... I'd rather have it for Magnum. Question is, do I want to just, like, Fatal Infection the 33, maybe? It's also a cheap spell that'll help us combo off, though. But I also don't want to sit here doing nothing, so I think let's just do that. Pass the turn. Hopefully they don't have an easy way of fighting through the Student. This is definitely a nice 2-drop for this deck. Just kind of sits there with a big butt and, you know, blocks your opponent's creatures. I think when you have the cards for this deck, you're getting like the big Lava Wave Sweeper. You're getting, you know, some other like really impactful, like cheap blue and red spells. But at least with kind of the starter deck that you get, I think this is kind of the way to play it. Well, I'm glad we decided to spend some mana to kill this because they're just sitting here bouncing our stuff, which we're taking chip damage, but like this deck doesn't win through chip damage. This deck wins through just like killing you with some giant thing. So them spending their Unsummons now to push through like a couple damage here and there just doesn't really do anything. So we'll just replay this. We've got 3 mana. Could fire off the Divination here or just play the Figment. I think I'm down for hard cast Figment though. You also want to be careful how many cards you have in your hand, because once you hit 10, it'll just start milling cards that you would draw. So I had 2 opportunity in the deck. I now have only 1 opportunity, 1 Divination, because also stuff like Firemind Bolt draws you a card. This draws you 3 essentially. At this point, I think I'm down to trade here. Like, taking another 2 doesn't matter that much, but I don't really have a way of punching through aside from using Bubble or Firemind Bolt, and I don't really want to do that. Because they have cards like this. Like, Jace's Apprentice is pretty annoying to deal with. Usually have to wait until the next turn. Okay, Manipulator, that's fine. Okay, Fountain. Definitely would have preferred a land, I think. Strongest creature, interesting. And Pyroclasm. So we've got 5 to work with. I think it's just going to be Opus, as much as I don't want this to die and they might answer it. I think we just got to use our mana efficiently. They attack. I'll probably block here. They can just stun this and make me block here. That would be the smart play. And then I will take 3. If they answer this, it's pretty bad for us, but we've got the Fearsome Return. Yeah. I'll take 3 here. I will live with that. And then we've got Chaos Lightning. So this is like the premier card in the deck. It can only do up to 10 damage, which is still a lot. And you just stack spells. Okay, yeah. All Sun's Dawn makes sense. We don't really have a way to answer that. So I think we start by Bubble Shielding here, or maybe I anticipate. Or I could Divination. So many things we could do this turn. I'm trying to think. Let's anticipate. Okay, Unsummon's great. It's like kind of exactly what I would like to do this turn. We've got 4 mana, so we can Unsummon here. And then Ral has 8 right now. Probably just Jolt, I think, or Bubble Shield. What's Bubble Shield? Just make sure this thing lives till next turn. Then I can pop my Mana Crystal to draw 2 here. Try and hope for more damage. I think so. I think I just want to maximize this turn as much as possible. Okay. There's a chance we can get this outside of the All Sun's Dawn. Yeah, because it gives the second sun deals 10 damage to each enemy. I mean, we're going to go to 4, which is really bad. But if we can get this out of range, and that spell costs 10, right? And they keep hitting their... Yeah. Actually, it's going to be really hard for them to cast this. I don't know why I keep saying All Sun's Dawn. It's Second Sun's Dawn. Let's see what makes you tick. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I passed the turn. My bad. My bad. Well, we had a big turn there. We got to get in for 7. We've got a huge Rouse Lightning coming up here, which is probably what we're casting next turn. We've got Lava Axe. I mean, we just, if we can get this up to 10 health, that would be nice. So they probably go this, and I guess Jace's Apprentice. And then if we're lucky, maybe our Chaos Lightning kills the Apprentice in this. Okay, 3-5 is definitely worse than a 3-9, so that's good. They're using that on that, which doesn't do anything. Could play another student. Do I have access to 7 here? Yes, I think that makes sense. Let's do this now. Hopefully we can kill their board. Excellent. Hit them for 9. And end the turn. If they answer this, it's bad for us, but we've got the Fearsome Return, which is nice, that we got off of Jolt of Inspiration. It's 7 mana. They can pop this and then play Second Sun if they have it in their hand. That would be pretty bad. Oh, man. Oh, they just have Day of Judgment. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Can't do much about that. How do we want to play this? I mean, I can... Yeah, right. Fearsome Return doesn't see the other creature. Alright, so in that case, we're going to Electromage. And then... Opportunity draws us up to exactly 10, so I don't think we want to do that yet. Maybe we just Jolt and see what we hit. The other thing is we could just cast Lava Axe. It's the most expensive spell in our hand, aside from that. Yeah, I think let's just do that. Might even save the shock for the face. Alright. Probably not going to win this game, but at least we've made it pretty far, I think. It's really tough to beat Jace. They just have so many ways to go over the top of you. It's definitely possible, but you have to put creatures on the board early and sort of tempo them and like bounce their stuff, kill their blockers, and just like keep getting chip damage and then have a big, lightning turn. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then next turn, they use their ultimate, probably. Okay, Tutor's not a bad card to have, though. We've got 3 damage, 4/5. They gain 7, which is... let's see what we hit here. Okay, Master of Possibilities. Not opposed to. And that's something we can get back with Fearsome Return when it dies. Probably have the sweeper. I don't think we can afford to play around that. Have to exile a braid to draft an artifact and summon it. Yeah, I guess we just do a braid. Get to kill that. We get a free shock. I think it has to go face, probably. So, sure, let's do it. I would think here comes the sweeper. And then we'll fearsome return back. I guess it would be the Electromage. Unless it doesn't see that. Yeah, so they use their ultimate. All of these cost 1. So they could just play their whole hand if they want to this turn. So their own master possibilities for 1. Yep. Master of possibilities. Yes. It's really tough to beat Jace with this, at least the current build that I have. Yep. I'm gonna draw a million cards. Yep. Makes sense. Go to 4. Mana Constrictor. I mean, we're not dead yet. What was that? They just... they like discarded it? I'm so confused. What happened there? Okay. So we can go Clasm, Flame Coil, something else. Fearsome Return just doesn't really do much here. So yeah, I guess we do that. Okay, they have a remand. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing. Because I need to not die. Not that it matters. I think we're pretty dead. So I think they have a second. Off the Sun's Dawn, I think they have a second. Deal 10. Yeah, this Fearsome Return has just been in our hand like since turn 3 or 4, and it's so bad in our deck. Yeah, Arcanus, can't really beat that. They get a free 1 mana spell here. They get 2 more really impactful 1 mana spells. I can't think of how we could win this, but we's gonna try for sure. Alright, I guess we start with Mage. And I guess Unholy Recruitment, maybe? Okay, this gives us an upgrade, I think, right? Oh no, it doesn't come into play. I'm still learning when the debut triggers are allowed. So it was not allowed off of that, off of drafting. That's something I did not know. Could unsummon the 2-1. I mean, that they just get a free spell. No. Probably dead here. They just need like a way to interact with our board, but I'll make them do it. Make them have it. That'll do it. So, yeah, that's how the Jace matchup goes. Oh no, Ashiok. Oh, this is just, besides Jace, this is just the other best late game blue planeswalker. So this is going to be tough. Pyroclasm is going to do nothing for the most part, so I'll keep the rest. If we could draw one of like our 2-drop threats, that would be nice. Just to get on board as soon as possible. Yep, get ahead. Drew the Pyroclasm anyway. Okay, Saboteur. We can't answer it. I think I am gonna unsummon. Try and buy a little bit of time. If we can hit it like a flame coil off the top, that deals with it. Okay, that I'm very okay with. So we're definitely shocking. So I guess we might go for like a free anticipate this turn. That seems good. Shock that. Or we could just play anticipate, see what we draw. I like Opus, I like Divination, which we could cast this turn, but I don't think we're going to cast anything this turn. I think I'd rather have another threat that they have to deal with. And we can't really take advantage of this, but that's okay. Saboteur, yep. And Scepter, okay. Now would be a great time for Flame Coil. Probably run out the Opus. Pick teams. Okay. Oh. This is probably going to die. But you know what? I will. Actually, I'll go for this. Oh, Unsummon again. Or Jolt. It's close. It's really close. I probably just want... You know what? I'm going to go with the Unsummon. I think Jolt is really good in this scenario. But... So I could pick teams, but I think I'm just going to do this. Keep their stuff off the board. Keep charging my Chaos Lightning. If they just go the 3-drop and something else, we can maybe just fire off a Chaos Lightning. Try and go for a big swing. I mean, this is the ideal board positioning. You just have some big threat, and you try and clear the way and tempo your opponent. So... Not the worst start. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be Chaos Lightning here. Just hoping to clear the way. What's the other line? We could go... So we have 5 mana? Oh, so we can do 2, 2, 3, 1. If we wanted to. I think this is probably better, though. Okay, did not kill this. That's pretty unfortunate. We did deal a lot of damage, though. And we put it, at least it's in Pyroclasm range, so that's not terrible. Okay, yep, flight. Take 2, they get double nightmares from here on out. Okay. They didn't actually take advantage of that. Oh, okay. Tragic Trip, yep. So there's 8 in the deck. That's not the best, not the worst. Man, I really want to have a way to deal with that. Maybe it's Anticipate to start. Probably. Another Clasm. Interesting. Depending on how this gets procced, we might be able to attack through. I think I am going to take this. So if I Clasm, this dies, this goes to 3, and then I shock Clasm. this would have to get a boost. So, all right, let's see. Okay, it got the +2 boost. So that's huge. Because now we go Clasm again. And then we shock. And then we kill them. Let's go. That's how you do it. That's how you beat that deck. Wow. I've been playing against Ashok so much, and it's such a bad matchup. But sometimes you get those kind of perfect draws where you're like unsummoning their stuff, getting board position, getting a big Mizium. I mean, that's probably the only way that I win those games. So, yeah, real quick, let me bring up the deck just for anyone who's wants to check it out again. In our post-game analysis, yeah, the blue decks, not good matchups. I think both Ashiok and Jace have absolutely better ways to go over the top of you and just completely out-card advantage you. But as you saw with that one Ashiok game, like, if you stick a threat like Electromage or really Magnum Opus, because this thing just can get monstrously huge, if you just keep answering their threats with your cheap spells like Shock, Unsummon, using Rouse passive to cheapen the rest of your cards, using Chaos Lightning to clear the way, you can win games, you know, and so I kind of went through my collection, you know, of my blue-red cards and was kind of like, all right, what should I be playing? One card that's missing from here that I think is really good is Shell Game, which is just transform a creature into an 0/4 turtle. It's a little counterintuitive with Chaos Lightning because, yes, you can answer one of their, you know, relentless threats or some legendary creature or something like that, but then Chaos Lightning can just target it and just you know, it puts 4 damage on a card you would never want to be damaging. So I think I did have them in and then I took them out. Still might be better, honestly, just because it's important for you to be able to deal with really, you know, challenging threats. But, you know, for the collection that I have, I've liked the deck. I think ideally I might want to have like another Figment because it's just kind of a free creature to run. Maybe some other impactful like 4-drops. But right now, you know, you keep the curve somewhat low. Definitely if I could have a second Ghitu Embermage, that would be excellent. But yeah, here's a list. Feel free to start with. I'm playing in plat. Blue decks are going to be tough. Some of the green mid-range decks that can go over the top of you are going to be tough. But I think you have a generally pretty good matchup into aggro. And I think the more you get better at sequencing in the deck and sort of pushing damage when you know how to do it and using your turns and your mana efficiently, you can beat a lot of the mid-range decks. And I think against blue, you're like probably 30%. Maybe that's cynical, but it feels that way, like 30% to win the games. But sometimes you win the games. And if people don't really, you know, also I think on the other side of the matchup, you're kind of sitting there and saying, oh, as long as I go late, I'm going to win. But sometimes they're not really paying attention to how you're answering their threats, you know, like some of their creatures and pushing through damage. So anyway, those are just, you know, just three games. We went 2-1 just to showcase Ral, and I really just recommend this Planeswalker for how unique and fun it feels, especially if you've been playing, you know, different decks and you're kind of like, I'm bored of this, I'm bored of that. Deck is super fun. So thank you, appreciate you for watching, and catch you next time.